What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday, February 14th, 2025. And to those out there who celebrated, happy Valentine's Day. And we are back with another live here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button, go ahead and hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live, or simply join the Discord and you will be able to get notified in there. So y'all see the title. I told you, I think last week, that I was going to save this topic for this week since I saw the movie yesterday. I uploaded the review today. Shout out to those who watched the review. So I said, let me just keep everything in alignment and talk about this topic today, which I'm sure many of you have probably heard already if you've been following the story. But before we get into all of that, let me acknowledge those who are here so far in the chat, or those who left comments earlier. Hacksign KT, Rashad Walker, Mika 40, Wallow J, One of Many Ancestral Incarnations, Reparation Nation, Miss Nisi, Eddie Foster, Chillmonger, Dewani, Brother Man to You, Kira Clark, Sovereign Black, Priscilla Taylor, Isaac George, West Coast Barbara, Cosima Fury, the My Voice Channel, GDS, who are Entree Jones and Quasi Blackstar, and let's see, JV B-Boy and Kind Equation Art, and Gina. And shout out to anyone else that's going to be coming through while we are live. And also, if you're not able to attend the live while we're here in real time, shout out to the replay gang. Also, shout out to those on Patreon, the members, the mods, all of that good stuff. So what we're going over today actually came out about 2 weeks ago. It actually came out about like around the end of January, when they were still doing pre-promotion for Captain America Brave New World, which officially has come out today. I saw it yesterday. And Anthony Mackie made some comments that upset the usual suspects, and I'm going to explain to you why it is nothing more than just fake outrage, and they just needed something to latch themselves onto, besides the fact that, yes, Anthony Mackie is a black man playing Captain America. Even though if they knew about the comics, they knew the Sam Wilson character did hold the mantle of Captain America for quite a bit of time after Steve Rogers decided he didn't want to be attached to the title anymore. So we're going to go ahead now, and we're going to go ahead and share the screen. Unfortunately, I don't have the video. I had it, but I think it either got I think when it was sent to me, I didn't save it, so it got lost in the threads on Twitter. And with my timeline, that thing is in a constant rotation. I should have sent it to myself in the DM. That way you could actually hear what he says. But thankfully, we got the transcript of what Anthony Mackie said, and how people just blew it out of proportion. And let's be real honest with ourselves here. A lot of the people knew exactly what Anthony Mackie was trying to say, or saying, period. But they heard one thing and they took it and ran with it because they needed the clicks and the views. And it was right before the movie came out. And a lot of the people that said the things that they said already had a bias going into this. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. So this is coming from comicbookmovie.com. And it was posted January 28th, 2025. What did Anthony Mackie truly mean when he said Cap shouldn't represent America? Anthony Mackie's recent comments about Captain America not representing America have sparked backlash, but did he truly mean what he said? This is a tough and sensitive one. Right off the bat, I want to make it very clear I am not attempting to offend anyone, make a political stance, or to do anything else of the sort. The objective of this article is to explore what Anthony Mackie was truly trying to say, whether it be literal meaning of the words that came out of his mouth or something behind them. I am not attacking or defending Mackie. I'm simply analyzing his words and providing speculation. So even the person who wrote this article had to give a disclaimer to the readers coming in to look at it, so they wouldn't catch slings and arrows, because they already knew how people took it. So it says, let's review his comments. Captain America represents, and this is a direct quote from Anthony Mackie. Like, this is what he said in the video. Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable. It's kind of like an aspect of a dream come true. All of us as actors want to get back to that day before someone told you no. When you look out of your window and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, the kid really believes there are dragons out there. I'm not even going to lie. When I was a kid, and that's the thing, that's actually a true statement, because when you're a kid, your imagination is wandering free. And we were all kids at one point, everyone in this chat. And we know what our imaginations were like. Of course, we know, our parents would tell us, could sit there and tell us it ain't real, but you couldn't tell us that we wasn't out there slaying demons and dragons and trying to save people from situations. I'm talking about the child's imagination just is wild. And then one day, someone told him, no, there are no dragons. That's not a sword. And that princess is not there. And all of his little dreams were dashed. So as an actor, I think our job is to get back to that day where we see that dragon and we slay that dragon to save the princess. And that's kind of what the movie was for me. Because I believe the question that was asked to him was, what does playing Captain America, or what does the character of Captain America mean to you? And like Chillmonger just said in the chat, when he was interviewed by this person, where he made this statement that he was not in the US, he was over in Italy. So he was interviewed by an Italian outlet when he made these comments. He said, these comments have sparked quite a bit of backlash and outrage. Some are defending Mackie, some are attacking him, and some seem to be separating the artist from the art and keeping their excitement for the movie. Some people are calling for boycotts of the movie entirely. At least at first glance, it is a bit odd to say a character shouldn't represent something that is in their name. The first idea that comes to mind is this. Maybe he simply meant Captain America shouldn't only represent just the country of the United States of America. Captain America can be representative of a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity, someone who is trustworthy and dependable, which are also his words, as well as the country that man comes from. And see, when they heard about not just representing America, that's the part right there that they took and they ran off with it. They took that one line that he said and ran off with it without really analyzing what he was trying to say. All they heard was, oh, how are you going to just play Captain America and just say that, oh, he shouldn't just represent, that he doesn't represent America? I'm like, have y'all seen the Captain America movies or read any of the Captain America stories? He wasn't just doing missions in the States. He was all over the globe. And see, they didn't like the fact that, oh, Captain America is, just a title. Bunker said Critical Drinker pissed me off. He called him Black Nat Man. Captain America. Well, I would expect that from him. I know exactly who you're talking about. I would expect that from him. You could think of The Usual Suspect when this movie first got promoted, before a single trailer even dropped. Hell, I'll take it back to the end of Endgame. When Steve Rogers came back from returning all the stones and he was an old man and he gave Sam Wilson the shield, I already knew what was about to happen. And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out and I saw what happened then. And now this movie came out and I'm seeing what's happening now. They can sit there and call it what they want, but we over here with a functioning brain know exactly what it is. As a matter of fact, I was on a podcast last night and we were talking about the movie, and someone in the chat had said they went and saw the movie today, and it was a part, and I'm gonna try not to spoil it, but it was a scene in the movie, and he said somebody in his theater yelled out, "Kill Black 10 America." They yelled that out when the movie was going on, and they said the person got escorted out of the theater. They said, "Kill Blackton America. So, like I said, they can say what they want and try to frame it like how they're doing with this, but we know exactly what it means. And when I get to the last piece of this, you'll understand why I say they're a bunch of hypocrites. So let me continue. Where did I leave off? It says maybe if Mackie meant that Captain America shouldn't just represent America, he meant the ideals of Captain America should be applicable to more than just Americans, and that he is a character more people around the world can identify with. Mackie could have said that Captain America shouldn't represent America because Cap is frequently portrayed as morally incorruptible, something no country as a whole truly is. Unfortunately, there is no large organization of any kind in the entire world that is truly morally incorruptible as what makes up every organization. Human beings all have the potential to be morally corrupt. Captain America doesn't let his morals be corrupted, save for multiversal variants like Captain Hydra and a few stories here and there. Maybe Mackie meant that Cap is completely incorruptible and therefore should not be directly represent any country in that way. He could have intended this simply as a statement of fact. It is indeed factual that no country has no corruption whatsoever, or as a criticism. Thinking about Mackie's statement after he said Cap shouldn't represent the term America, he may have meant Cap shouldn't represent all of America or its history. Just like any place in the world, the United States isn't 100% full of perfect people. And before I go any further, after watching the movie yesterday and putting into perspective what Anthony Mackie said, it all makes sense. So if y'all go see the movie and think about what he said, it all kind of falls into place. It's kind of like almost like, of course, he worked on the movie. He definitely knows the script. And he basically was telling us in so many words, what I'm telling you right now, you're going to see in this movie. You just don't know it yet. There are problems the U.S. faces that, of course, aren't exclusive to the U.S. that Mackie may not want represented in the character Captain America. He wouldn't want that character to represent racism, division, greed, or anything else negative that is present in the U.S. He could have intended to say that Captain America should represent only the good parts of America. Of course, he could have meant exactly what he said. Regardless of what he meant, he certainly could have worded it better. And considering he is on a press tour for a movie about Captain America with a huge percentage of his market being America, and the companies that own the character are and funded the movie are American, you'd think he'd be a bit more careful with his words. We'll likely get a clarifying statement from him soon, so maybe he will clear things up. And that's the whole article right there. And shout out to those who just came into the chat that I get a chance to acknowledge. And if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. So that was the first article right there. This next article I'm going to go over that comes from Variety that was actually posted yesterday, as a matter of fact. This is from the director. And by the way, in case y'all did not know, and I found this out either yesterday or the day before, this Captain America movie is actually directed by a black man. I did not know that until I saw like when they were doing interviews, and I saw him because I honestly didn't know. But yeah, this movie was directed by a black man. So it says Captain America: Brave New World. Director says things get misinterpreted after Anthony Mackie's America comment ignited right-wing outrage. And that's the key word right there, right-wing outrage, because those were the main ones that had something to say. This part right here was spot on, because that's mainly the ones that had something negative to say about his comments. Captain America: Brave New World. Let's put it this way: the same people that's hating this right now are the same ones that went into Karen and Brad mode about Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. Captain America: Brave New World director Julius Onah. That answers your question, Phantom Beat, when you were saying is the director Black America, because that last name Onah, Onah, says something else. gave an interview with Vanity Fair and cooled down controversy over Anthony Mackie's viral comments about the films representing America. The actor ignited right-wing outrage last month during a Q&A in which he said that Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Mackie added at the time, someone who was trustworthy and dependable. Some right-wing pundits felt Mackie was downplaying the patriotism of the superhero, while others thought he was being downright anti-American. And I saw those comments too. I mean, these comments that a lot of these individuals left was absolutely ridiculous, calling this man anti-American. I even saw some people go as far as say that he needs to leave America. Where are you going to send this man? This man was born here. He's from here. He's an American. The controversy grew loud enough that Mackie took to Instagram a few days later to clarify his remarks. Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world relate to. You know what? If I was Anthony Mackie, I could see why he did the clarification thing, but I'm going to be honest with you. I would not have done it because the damage was already done. They already are set in their ways. So no matter what kind of explanations that he does, they already have in their mind that you're anti-American or you shouldn't be Captain America. Honestly, a lot of people, like I said before, already had a bias towards him playing this role anyway. This just added on to it. The director now told Vanity Fair that things at times get misinterpreted. In response to the controversy that Mackie's original comment created, the director added, "Speaking for myself, I approached this film with a very specific point of view, the sense of community, which is something I personally have experienced in various ways while living in the US. Another thing that stuck out was the idea of sympathy, which in my opinion is Sam Wilson's superpower. That to me is not just timely, but incredibly important." This isn't a flag-waving movie, he said. It is red, white, and blue, but it just so happens that the character was created in America during wartime when there was a common enemy, even though it is Captain America. I've said it before in interviews, it feels more like he should just be called Captain Good. You know, he was created at a time when there was this undeniable evil, and this guy was kind of created to fight that evil. I think that everyone could agree that Nazis were bad, and he, Cap, just so happens to wear the red, white, and blue. Julius also said that Mackie's character, Sam Wilson, has no doubts about being the new Captain America in the movie after the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, primarily dealt with Sam's concerns over picking up the shield. That question has been resolved. Sam is our Captain America now, and he's our hero. So that's a statement right there from the director. Now, actually, it's two more things I want to share with y'all. But first, let me type this in. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to show y'all is this part right here. I want y'all to look at this right here. And this is where the hypocrisy kicks in. So people were able to, after what happened with Anthony Mackie, were able to find this statement from Chris Evans, who played Steve Rogers, rather, Captain America, from 2011 to 2019. And this was a statement that he gave when he was asked the same exact question that Anthony Mackie was asked. It's just crazy how Chris Evans said the same thing about Captain America that Anthony did and got no backlash for it. The double standards is so blatant and obvious. So the question came from CBR. I'm not exactly what CBR is, but they said, what does it mean to you to basically be draped in the American flag for this film? Chris said, well, to me, I'm not trying to get too lost in the American side of it. This isn't a flag-waving movie. It is red, white, and blue. Now, doesn't that sound awfully like the statements that the director just made from the article I just read? But it just so happens that the character was created in America during wartime when there was a common enemy, even though it is Captain America. I've said before in interviews, it feels more like he should be Captain Good. And then he says that he laughed at it. He said it was created at a time when it was undeniable evil, and this guy was kind of created to fight that evil. You want to know why this quote sounds very familiar? It's because this is the quote that the director gave in the last article, quoting Chris Evans. So Chris Evans said this years ago, but there was no backlash for it. But when Anthony Mackie says something along the same lines, years later, he gets all this backlash. And it's crazy because you should have saw the amount of cope they were doing in them comments when the people got confronted with this. And they was out there saying, oh, we went at Chris Evans back then. I said, no, you did not, because we would have seen it. Even if it was 2011, we would have seen that. Social media was a thing back then. Twitter was still in its infancy stages. But he didn't get the same backlash. They tried to say that he did, but it makes you wonder, did he actually? Because all the Captain America movies made bank. And I didn't see not one of these so-called individuals call to boycott the movie or say Chris Evans was anti-American or that they should recast the role with someone who's more patriotic or that they should flee the establishment. Badger said 2011. I thought it was 2019. Well, whenever. I'm not sure. I don't know if he made this comment when he first took the role, which would, because the first movie came out in 2011. So I don't know if it was then or in 2019 with Endgame. But either way, he made this comment. Now, the last thing I'm going to show y'all is this. Put in the chat if anybody knows who this is. Let me zoom in a little bit. Put in the chat if anybody knows who this is. We're going to see if we got any comic readers in here. Shout out to Patrick, John, Eddie, Brother Man, and so many others. This is Isaiah Bradley. In case y'all are unaware, before Sam Wilson, before Steve Rogers, there was Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah Bradley was the first Captain America. I know for some of you, this is probably, your heart just probably hit the floor. Yes, Isaiah Bradley was the first Captain America. Now, to give you a little bit of a backstory behind it, because it is a very dark one, but not to go into a whole spiel about it. Get the comic issue Red, White, and Black, the Truth issue Red, White, and Black, and it gives you his whole backstory. But Isaiah Bradley, he was a soldier. He was in the military, and they wanted a lot of people to try out for their super soldier serum. So many people tested for it, but their body rejected it and they died. But Isaiah Bradley, when he was pretty much snatched up and they forced him to take it, his body adapted to it. And they utilized him for as much as they wanted to. And then they said, you know what? We need to create more super soldiers. So how do we do this? I know. Let's take some of his DNA or his blood, since it already has a super soldier in it, and manipulate it to make more. But we can't do it with just one dosage. We have to do it with many and several. So what did they do? Keep Isaiah Bradley locked down for about 30 years while they tested and experimented on him. What does that sound like? The Tuskegee experiment. It almost kind of reminds me of Henrietta Lacks as well, if you know her story, which I'm sure many of you are aware of. But when you read his story, it plays out just like the Tuskegee experiment, where they tested on all these black men for their own benefit. And this man, if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it goes into a little bit of his backstory as well, was basically tucked away for so many years, long forgotten. And then they found Steve Rogers, and Steve Rogers got all the glory, and nobody knew who in the world Isaiah Bradley was until many years later when they did Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's how people got introduced to him. And that show came out in 2021. So that's just a brief summary. It's way deeper than that. Trust me. I just gave y'all the Cliff Notes version of it. Exactly, Azel. It was basically Marvel's version of the Tuskegee experiment. And what you're seeing right now, that is his original, that's his costume. He has the helmet on, he has the bandana. The flag is not a part of it. He's just holding the flag there, and he has his Captain America uniform on. He has his shield, and that was his look. I said if they ever did an Isaiah Bradley series, I would be worried, mainly because I don't know how they would do it. I don't know how they would even handle that character. So I just wanted to tell y'all that before Steve Rogers, it was Isaiah Bradley. Now you know that the first Captain America was a black man. Kermit Frost says Bradley was shown at Storm's wedding in a wheelchair, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure. GDS said they already did it. I'm talking about his own backstory. I'm talking about this backstory right here. We know he got introduced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was a supporting character. And you know he had his grandson, Elijah Bradley, who later goes on to be Patriot, who is one of the leaders of the Young Avengers, which they're setting up for. By the way, he was supposed to be in the movie, but something happened, and you know what? I'm just going to stop right there. Let me type it in. Let me see. Red, white, and black. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it so y'all can see the cover of it. Okay, y'all, this is the cover of that issue that I'm talking about. It's called Truth, Red, White, and Black. And this is the one that talks about Isaiah Bradley. So here it is right here. So, you know, if y'all want to go and pick it up, just, you know, type it in, see where you can get it, read it. Ms. Nisi says, I'm getting educated about these comments. Yeah, hey, just like, hey, What did they say about the X-Men? What did they say about Professor X and Magneto? Who did they compare them to? Shoot, the whole X-Men lore is about black people, especially during that time. They said Professor X was like Dr. King, and Magneto was modeled after Malcolm X, in that the X-Men, the mutants, were black people during that time. And if you look at the X-Men animated series, especially around season 5-ish, it really shows. That's what Stan Lee said. Stan Lee said he modeled Malcolm X, and he modeled Professor X and Magneto after Malcolm X and Dr. King. And when you think about those characters, they have a lot of similarities, because Magneto was the more aggressive in his tone, whereas Professor X was more, we need to try to work with the humans, whereas Magneto was like, F the humans. And of course, then Black Panther came out, and we all know who that was after. That was modeled after the Black Panther Party. But guess what guess what Black Panther got introduced in the Fantastic Four? Black Panther, T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, King of Wakanda, got introduced into Marvel Comics in the Fantastic Four before he had his own run. And of course, was named after the Black Panther Party. I think that was self-explanatory. I'll give you another one. Monica Rambeau. And I'm naming these characters because they're modeled after actual black people. Monica Rambeau, aka Photon, aka Spectrum, aka the first Captain Marvel. In case y'all are unaware, Monica Rambeau, a black woman, was Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers. She was modeled after Pam Grier. The creator of Monica Rambeau had an obsession with Pam Grier, like I'm sure most men and boys did back in the day, and modeled her and created her in her image. A lot of those black superheroes in comics back in the day were actually modeled after a lot of characters during the blaxploitation era. Shout out to Cool Colas, because I actually learned that from him. So when you look at a lot of those blaxploitation movies, and you look at how a lot of those characters like Luke Cage, how they looked back then, and you look at those blaxploitation movies of the early 70s, which by the way saved Hollywood from going belly up, they were made in their image. I didn't even expect to go into a whole history lesson right quick, but my goodness. Isaac said this is interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. And the thing is, if you like history and you can combine it with something like this, it actually makes people want to look this stuff up. And I hope that y'all do go and look more of this stuff up beyond this live. Because I'll admit, I'm not the most avid comic reader. I'm not really a comic reader at all. But it's amazing what I found out over the years by doing some research and listening to the right and proper channels, such as one that just came into this chat. Shout out to the Dre Max Show. Yeah, but look at a lot of those black superheroes that were made over the years and see who they were created after and their image. A lot of them didn't just get the inspiration to have some of these characters look the way that they did out of thin air. They got it from somewhere. Corey George, good point. Blade, the movie Blade, got Marvel out of bankruptcy. Well, they was about to file for bankruptcy, and they saved them. Dave Reezy says, who knows? I know about Ironheart. Riri Williams, protege to Tony Stark. And very intelligent young lady. Very smart. And that's one thing that I like about the Black characters that are created is because none of them are dumb. These are very intelligent, smart people, especially when it comes to science and tech. Brilliant minds. Iconic says the first Blade movie is, of course, listen, the first Blade is untouchable. That's just what it is. Shout out to Wesley Snipes for doing what understanding the assignment and passing. Shout out to Kevin for the 10. He says, I got the first issue of Deathlight back in 1991. Features a black man who was created by the government. I appreciate you. But I'm gonna go ahead and now I'm gonna drop the link for anybody who would like to come up and speak. I know I kind of went on a tangent a little bit, but you know how that goes. When you get passionate about something, that's what ends up happening. So if anybody would like to come up, oh, and by the way, speaking of Michael Jackson, in case y'all didn't know, Michael Jackson wanted to buy Marvel. I think he wanted to play Spider-Man too. And this is back in the day. This was, of course, before Blade came and saved Marvel, but he wanted to buy Marvel from Stan Lee. In case y'all were unaware. Yeah, Blade 1 and 2 are good. I don't count Blade Trinity. We saw what happened with that one. All right, let's see. We got
okay. First again. Okay, so when I first heard Anthony Mackie's comments, when I first read them, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta look these up. And I knew you was gonna eventually make a video off this one because they get mad over every dumb dumb thing. Like I don't see the point of them getting mad about it. All they're gonna say that this new Captain America movie was woke anyway, since Anthony's the new Captain America. So what you expect for him to say? You know what I'm saying? He just gotta call it what it is. I mean, every movie with a black person, that's now the antagonist. It bothers them. It upsets them. They calling it DEI. They calling these movies woke. Anything that where a black actor is in a lead role, it's somehow DEI woke.
mm-hmm.
So yes, Captain America is not about America. Or otherwise we wouldn't be hearing those words very often because you see someone for the first time that's, brown skin, um, taking a role. So they just need to shut up, stop crying, get over it. Everything is not about them. It's other races just trying to get their shine too. So, that's what I'm saying. It's a sad, sad world, and I need to support that movie. I may see it myself because the fact that he's the new Captain America, it kind of caught me off guard that he got took over the mantle. So I'm happy about it, and I'm gonna land my plane right there. Oh, before I land it, there's this video about that Taco Bell security slapping that woman. You need to do that video as well. I just uploaded mine.
Okay.
P1.
P1. Shout out to Jonathan for coming up. Yeah, truth. Like the movie came out. Well, technically it came out yesterday, but it's everywhere today. All right. Up next up, we're sweeping up to the stage. We got Hurricane Nisi. What's going on?
Good evening, Torian and family in the chat. Thank you for the education.
No problem.
But I will wait for the digital release because I don't go to theaters anymore. And that's all I got to say. Be blessed, my baby.
All right, you too. Shout out to Miss Nisi for coming up. All right, next up, coming to the stage, we got Mansa Musa. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
What's
You hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Well, I'm late to the live. I didn't know what was going on, but I actually do, because they was talking about this before the movie released. But I don't know what you were talking about specifically in this live, so I have to do the replay. But I'll give a little bit of it into it from what I've known from before the movie released. They didn't like it. People didn't necessarily like it. I thought it was a little weird. I do like Anthony Mackie as an actor. I just wanted to see how it would play out with him as a character being Captain America, because he doesn't have the super soldier serum, so to speak.
Mhm.
But I was surprised to see that the original Captain America was in there, the black, the one that they kind of, blackballed low key. But he was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the previews and everything. So, so as far as I know, it's just like you said, the usual suspects. The uncooked meatballs. We got something to say. And you can't say it's DEI, because DEI is gone now. So you just gotta call it for what it is. It's flat blackness. So we just go ahead and leave it at that. You just don't like black people. All right, cool. That's just what it is. Go dive off a bridge and land face first. That's pretty much it. I'll go check out the movie when I get a chance. That's it. I watched the replay. I'll let y'all later.
All right. Shout out to Mansa Musa for coming up. Next up, we got AW1. What's going on?
What's going on, Torian? Wow. I'm gonna tell you, that's something I didn't even know. Captain America was originally a black dude. Yeah, Tori, I think you just made more enemies today.
It's common knowledge, but you would think, but it is common knowledge though.
But again, these are the same people said they don't see skin color.
Mm-hmm.
Until it's a black man. But yeah, all I can say is thanks for the history lesson, Tori.
No problem. Like I said, I'm not an avid comic reader or anything. This is stuff that I just learned over the years. I can point you in the direction of some people that could do way more bigger, deeper dives than I could.
KG's one of them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like he says, he does this because he showed his collection.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, again, thanks for the history lesson. And but all you can do is, hey, that's the original guy was black. I didn't make him. But yeah, all right, Tori, y'all be one and stay woke.
All right, appreciate you coming up. All right, shout out to Joseph coming up. Hey, Leo, I posted the link in the chat just now if you want to click it. All right, next up we got coming to the stage is Chillmonger. What's going on?
I'm doing well. So this comic you were referencing, it's not an old comic from 1944. It is something they created in 2005. I was looking for the exact date, but it's pretty recent. It's 7 issues. Captain America or Truth. I thought it was called Red, White, and Black, like you said. Maybe they changed.
They may have changed it because the one I had on the screen did say Red, White, and Black.
Yeah, and I remember that too. But so retroactively, yeah, they were doing experiments Tuskegee Airmen style. I was gonna say this though, the question coming out of this box office performance: Are we gonna be hearing the narrative is, see, black movies don't sell, 2018 was an anomaly, or is the message gonna be that mantle swapping doesn't work? We made a whole lot less with Shuri. We what's the other mantle swap that they did? Hawkeye. I guess that was a TV show, but this is a box office. So with this film, we changed him from Falcon. We promoted him to Captain America, and we still didn't make enough money. I hope that they can realize that that's the problem, not just that Anthony Mackie. We can't sell internationally. I hope that that's what they think about, because this wasn't like Black Panther. Nothing to be proud of. If you ask me, I'm looking at it like, damn, why did he abandon his likeness? And why are we teaching the message that when you assimilate and the closer you are to whiteness, the more movie worthy you are? He should have never dropped the name Falcon. And I'm kind of irked that Joaquin Torres, no spoilers, but if anyone who reads comics knows that Joaquin Torres starts calling himself Falcon all of a sudden. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on there? So the question to you, Torian, is what will the narrative be? black movies don't sell or mantles don't sell or both?
Well, first off, then, let me pause it right quick because I'm gonna answer the question while you're here. They're not marketing this as a black film. That's the main thing. They're not marketing it as a black film. And anyone who saw the movie already, they don't lean in on that at all in the movie. So they can't even use that as a talking point. Now, when it came to Black Panther, because it was a more majority black cast, then that's when you could lean in on that. But with this one, not really.
Majority black cast, uncolonized Africa, Al-Kebulan. What you know about that, Torian? Al-Kebulan. It was uncolonized Africa. So much to be proud about, happy for. And then we go to this, where he barely leans into his black identity. There's a couple times where culture kind of seeped through. Do you remember? I'll spoil it, so I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. All right, but I appreciate you coming up and showing the comic. But yes, y'all, that is the comic right there that Chillmonger had, the red, white, or the truth issue, I should say. But I appreciate you coming up. All right, next up that we got is Leo. What's going on? You finally was able to click that link. And it's only a 2-minute time limit. I'm giving you the heads up now because it's your first time coming up, but it's a 2-minute time limit.
Oh man, damn it! All right, you can hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right, just wanted to say, man, good review, good, solid, bringing out the truth. We need that comic book to come out, and for me, Anthony Mackie doesn't have to prove himself that he has to be black. And he doesn't have to show that he has to be black because he is. Mm-hmm. And he's always acted himself with the highest respect and the highest honor of being a black or brown man. And being ethnically not cleansed, but ethnically proper to be this Captain America. Because if we, as comic book heads, as movie buffs, as movie heads for the series, we want comic book accurate. In the comic book, he gets called Captain America. So that's what he is. And he, for me, personally, he does lean into it because he's standing there. In Falcon and Winter Soldier, he says, I do understand what it means to carry this shield. I'm the black man wearing the stars and stripes. I know what it means. What more do fans need?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But I do, Torian, thank you for bringing out that truth book, brother. And we need this. I need Isaiah Bradley in a show, movie, special presentation. Give it to me now. Yes, please.
All right, I appreciate you coming up, Leo.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Before I bring up the next person, let me acknowledge these super chats. We got Doc Spencer. Shout out to you for the 20. DeMarcus, shout out to you for the 4, and also again shout out to DeMarcus for the 5. He says, could you have seen Jonathan Majors playing Red Hulk? No, I cannot. Nope, because then that means he would have had to be Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, and that wouldn't have worked. So no, I could not see Jonathan Majors as Red Hulk. As a matter of fact, Jonathan might need to. That's a whole nother can of worms right there. With Jonathan and everything going on over at Disney, more so, in Marvel. That's a whole nother situation, but I do appreciate the super chat. All right, next up we got Cosmo. We got Cosmo.
Hey.
You good?
Just give me. Yeah, I'm good. I'm sorry. Something emergency came up.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Work came up in place of it. All I'm gonna keep it brief since I'm at work. I'm at the hospital. Is Falcon and Winter Soldier? This is a direct sequel to that series, and people watch that. They have had their criticisms about it, and they knew what to expect there. But of course, because it's February-based movie, everybody wants to come outside. Like that guy that on KG posted saying that reparations is BS. They always want to do that in the month for us. So the same thing is going to happen with this movie. Next thing you know, on Disney Plus, guess what? It's going to have good viewership once it's released there. So
every time. Good point.
That's all I got to say about it. Let me get back to work.
All right.
He won everyone.
B1. Cosmo out there saving lives, but shout out to Cosmo. He did make a good point, and I didn't think of that because every time you have these individuals going out there yelling, go woke, go broke, which is a failed statement, because every time they say it, everything that they say is woke does not go broke. It ends up doing numbers on the streaming platform that it goes on, or like when Miss Nisi said she'll wait for it to go on to digital, it does numbers there every single time. And shout out to Joseph Washington for the 5. He says, pardon my tardiness and great review you did earlier today, Torin. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I'll drop the link one more time just in case anybody else would like to come up and speak. Kermit the Frog said K-Dot went woke and has the highest watched Super Bowl halftime show in history. And his was the actual true definition of woke, how we would use it. Of course, you know, the usual suspects, they go by their own little metric system, whatever the hell that is. Oh, we got some more people that just came on. Joseph, what's going on?
Salute, Tori, and salute to the chat room again. Pardon my tardiness. I had to hit the super chat for, I just got in from work. And I just saw that the review you did for Captain America Brave New World was great. I'm gonna try to see it. If not this weekend, then next week I get paid. And for you to do this live, based on the comments the usual suspects made, they just gonna have to get used to, Black representation in these types of films. It's been implemented in the comics already, so I don't know what the fake outrage is for. And that's all I wanted to say. I know I have like a 2-minute warning, but I just wanted to drop in and say my piece. Thanks for having me up.
No problem. And also, before I bring up the next person, one thing that I also noticed is that Marvel has 3 movies coming out this year. One of them came out today. The next one is Thunderbolts, and the next one is Fantastic Four. In all 3 movies, every last one of these individuals had something to say about it. With this one, of course, we already went over it, and it's obvious. The next one is the Thunderbolts. And the problem they had with that is because allegedly, Yelena is going to be the leader of that. And y'all don't know who she is. She's basically Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow's sister. And they're mad about that because it's a woman. She is Caucasian. She's Russian, but the character is, but she is a woman. And then the next one is Fantastic Four, and they're mad about that because of Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards, and Pedro Pascal is Chilean, not white American. Shout out to Brother Man to you for the 5. He said, cannot believe they eliminated Elijah from the film and not do more with Isaiah Bradley to help. I shouldn't have highlighted that comment because it kind of had a spoiler in there, but I appreciate you, Brother Man. Okay. If y'all seen the movie, please do not put spoilers in the super chat for those who want to see the movie. I didn't catch it until I had to read it a little and I had to catch myself. All right, let's see. Next up. Oh, Dre Mack, what's going on?
What's up? Hey, I'm on my way to work. I just want to say, of course, you already know, Tori, and good job on everything that you're doing, especially pulling up that truth book. I would say go back. If anybody can just read it on digital, it's very heartbreaking story. You know what I mean? And it mirrors a lot of the Tuskegee experiment, which I believe I've already talked about on my show, that they should have leaned more Anthony Mackie into that and let him know how much Isaiah went through and understand why it's important now if you're going to be Captain America to wear it proudly. Excuse me. I'm walking to work, so but you know, to wear it proudly to represent Isaiah. You know what I mean? But as far as the movie and people mad at it, you know, even
Dre, it sounds like Dre, it sounds like you going. It sounds like you going through the matrix right now. And now that sounds like he's gone completely.
you sir.
Yeah, you still choppy. All right. Well, Dre, I don't know what happened. I think you might have been losing a connection, but I understand what you were saying, though. But I do appreciate you coming up. But to add on to what Dre was saying, if y'all watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they kind of touched on the stuff that Isaiah went through. I mean, they didn't go lean completely into a whole arc about it, but they did touch on it. That's why we were saying we wish that they had a show or even a special presentation, which is about an hour long, talking about that. But because we know the I guess you can say the tone of it and how that would play out, we know they ain't going to do it. And if they do, it'll be very light. And you can't do something like, you can't tell a story like that and have it be light. But there was a comment that someone left that I did want to bring up. And if I am wrong about this, I will gladly correct myself. Dwayne says, sorry, bro, but you got the story slightly wrong. Steve Rogers was the first Captain America. Isaiah Bradley took over the mantle after Steve disappeared. Okay, well, if I'm wrong about that, about what I said earlier about Isaiah Bradley being the first Captain America, let me just say I got it wrong. Like I said, I'm not like an avid comic book reader. It's just that when I think of that story, I always thought, that he was like the first Captain America. But that just shows you how many times that title of Captain America has been passed around. It wasn't always just linked to just one person. So if I did get that incorrect, I apologize. Exactly, PG. The TV series showed more, but not enough. If they was to do it, they would have had to have dedicated a whole episode, like a filler episode, just to that part. But we knew they wasn't going to do that. So do I, hey, brother man, to you, I got on Leo about that last night on the podcast. Well, after it was over, I said, I'm going to send you the link. We're going to see if you show up today. All right, next up, we got Denzemus. What's going on?
What's going on, my guy? You hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm heading into it. Basically, this whole situation, I just sum it up to the Jack situation from Mortal Kombat. It's just another situation where they just don't want to see a black person in any positive form of the light. I come from the era of
Wait. Well, Denzemus, there's a lot of noise going on in the background. I don't know exactly where you at. I had to mute you right quick. Type in the private chat if you're free, like if there's no sound around, because there was a lot of noise that just came through, and I could barely hear you. All right, so Brother Manta, you said that Isaiah was the first Captain America, but not officially. So basically, he was. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say I just basically sum it up to the Jack situation. We're not allowed to have any type of positive characters.
Okay.
Basically, that's pretty much it.
Okay, I appreciate it. And when he's talking about with Jax, he's talking about more so what happened in that Mortal Kombat game, where his ending, what he done when he won the tournament. If y'all know about that ending, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And man, oh my God, The usual suspects get mad about that. But back to what Brother Man was saying, he said he wasn't the first Captain America, but he was, but not officially. So basically, he was Captain America, but without the title. And I think someone else earlier said he was kind of like Cap. I mean, he carried the shield. But they would have never. Of course, at that time, they would have never gave a black man that title. But they probably had him under the impression that he was Captain America. But yeah, go and get that book. As a matter of fact, I might order that book. I might need to read that. I'm gonna have to read it. Like I said, I knew about it, but I never actually officially read it. But I'm gonna probably have to end up purchasing that book so I can read it myself, and I'm gonna try to keep composure. Rashad says Isaiah came on the scene after Steve went into the ice and fought in the Korean War. Okay. Yeah, I wish that we could get that story. Someone else said Isaiah was the first person that they used the super soldier serum was tested on, and it was successful. Because remember, like I said, it was a failure on everybody else. See, there you go. So basically, the serum that they used on Steve Rogers was after they used it on Isaiah Bradley, and it was a success. J. Joe says, what YouTube channels go in depth about Black superheroes? I'm not sure if there is a channel that definitively goes in just on Black superheroes, just specifically or all the time. But if you just go on YouTube and you just type in like certain keywords about Black superheroes or comic book heroes, there's going to be a plethora of channels that'll pop up. People who are very enriched in comic book culture that will do great and excellent breakdowns for you. Okay, Chillmonger says Black comic lords. Never heard of them, but I trust Chillmonger's judgment with that as far as answering your question. But oh yeah, GDS says there's blurred content creators. Cool Carlos is another one. He's been on my channel. You know, he wrote the as I call it, the Blurred Bible. You know, he's been on my channel a few times. He's another one that you can check out, and he does good breakdowns of that type of content. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go and purchase that book. I need to go and see like where I can actually get. Let me see if I can purchase that on Amazon. Maybe Amazon will have Amazon. Amazon got everything. So let me see if they got it. I will definitely purchase it. Shout out to Brother Man, to you for the 5. He said Isaiah Bradley was before Steve Rogers. He had the original serum, but Steve had updated version without the kinks. I appreciate you. All right, Dre Max says the Black comic lord. So he basically said the same thing that Chillmonger said. Songwriter said Seiji Hito, another person who we are all for most of us are familiar with on the channel. GDS says Captain America Brave New World is on pace to $40 million on Friday, and I'm assuming that is domestically. AW1 says, do I have Amazon Prime? Of course I do. I feel like anybody who got an Amazon account need to have Prime. I mean, why would you have Amazon and not have Prime? That kind of defeats the purpose. But anyway, y'all, I don't think anybody else is going to be coming up this evening. This was a good discussion. This was a good discussion on the topic itself. But then when I went off into my little tangent, that was a good discussion as well. I would like to actually have more discussions like this, but I feel like these only come up when it's like, you know, whenever it's a comic book related thing, which for me on this channel is few and far in between. But since this movie came out today, well, yesterday for me, and everything just kind of lined up the way it did, I like that this conversation was had. And then on top of that, as cliche as it may sound, look at what month we're in. So, but yeah, Shout out to everybody that came up and spoke. It was quite a few of you. Even some of y'all came up and spoke for the first time. Shout out to everybody that contributed to the super chat as well. I greatly appreciate you as well. We will be back on here tomorrow with the 10 a.m. live, 10 a.m. premiere video, excuse me. And we will also have a midday live tomorrow as well at 12 noon. So be on the lookout for that. And with that being said, everybody, make sure you have a great evening. Stay safe, stay warm, and above all else, make sure to stay B1.